The first thing I'm going to set up is this F16 V2. It permanently stays in my garage. That runs the lights over the garage door opening, and then I'm adding the sticks prop to that this year. And so then as I add things, I have ports. It's here, you know, might as well use it. Now I also have an older cheap power supply here that also stays out here the whole time. So we could have insects getting in there. We could have, you know, spiders making little nests. Could have some wasps or something like that. So let's find out if anybody decided to make it home over the off season. Power and no sparks. I guess we're good. One other step before we get started is it rained here for about the whole month of September and the first half of October. So instead of having dead brown grass, we have this nice green stuff. So the first thing I have to do before I start setting up is another thing that happened during the storms was this branch came down and I haven't cleaned it up yet. So I need to do that before I set up the display. I know, I'm an awesome neighbor. As you can see, I have a little problem with this chroma trim V3. I bent it too far, so it actually broke. But I think I have a quick solution and then a longer term solution. 1 second. Okay, fixed. Gorilla tape. Well, for the bottom, I'll use these. It's got the little ball on it, a little bungee cord. So you just make sure that the strip free of grass and oriented. You go in there like that. Through, my goodness, through the little holder and around. I'll put a little tension on it, not much, but it will hold it in place. Same thing on the other side. Oops. And we are good to go. Actually, I may want to put that on the inside. Beautiful. For the stakes for the sticks, I'm going to use rebar. Now, rebar is steel reinforcing bar, normally used in concrete to reinforce concrete, but you can see there is quite a bit of rust on this stuff because it's just bare metal. So the first thing I'll do is clean off the rust and then I'll paint them so that they won't rust anymore. And what I'll use to clean it off with is Brillo pads. And it even has soap. You can use a wire brush. This kind of just gets most of the surface stuff off. And you don't have to get all of it off, but the more the better. Wire brush would probably also be great. And then if you had a grinder with a wire brush, that's probably even better. But again, I don't think you have to take all that off. Okay. All right, so after wiping them down with a lint-free microfiber cloth, set them up to where I can paint about half of them, or half of each of the rods. And I'll be using this Rust-Oleum gloss protective enamel. It is green in color. I don't know if you can see that, because that's what I have. Doesn't really matter, it's pretty dark. I'll coat them pretty good. Not really worried about runs or anything like that because we're just trying to get a good coating on them. All right, we'll let that dry and we'll do the other side. Next morning, I got up and painted the other half of the rebar. It remained tacky for most of the night, so I had to let it dry for a little bit longer. As you can see from the cloud cover today, we're going to have intermittent rain, and it's supposed to actually really start raining sometime in the early afternoon. And I have something else I need to do, so I'm going to take these, put them under cover. I probably will not get anything else done on the lights today, but we'll see what the weather holds. I bought this 4-can ammo crate from Amazon because I'm trying something new this year since I'm running the Falcon F48. Now, these ammo cans are just big enough to hold a power supply and a differential receiver. My only concern is that there's not enough space to keep the power supply cool, so that will kind of be the test this year. These boxes have an Ethernet connector on the front, along with cable glands for the power input, and 4 pixel pigtails as outputs. Now this is my prototype. I put the Ethernet connector up a little too high, but I think I can still close it with a cable inserted in there. If not, I'll just leave it unlatched. I used a 3/4 inch hole saw for the Ethernet connector. Then I used a stepper bit to drill a 5/8 inch hole for the AC mains input. Put a piece of tape on the end just to remind me where to stop. Then I used a 1-inch hole saw for the 24mm cable gland for the pigtails. This was almost too big. If you can get the next size down hole saw for this 24mm cable gland, I would recommend that. I had to Dremel out the hole for the Ethernet connector just a little bit. I'm using 9mm cable glands for the AC mains input and 24mm cable glands for the pigtails. Now 4 pigtails are a little tight in there, so you might want to try 25mm or 26mm cable glands for those, but the 24s worked just fine. You just have to wiggle them in a little bit. I have all this stuff linked on my Amazon affiliate page if you're looking where to find this stuff. All right, that about does it for this one. I'm going to put this together and upload it. In the meantime, I'm still working on the other 2 boxes here, and I did get the wall washer up. I'll show you that next time. That one kind of had to go up before the
Staff of Zartan.
and the matrix, and so I'll put all that stuff in the next video. And then after that, it's pretty much wire everything up and see what works. Hopefully the rest of it should go pretty quickly since it's been set up before, but we'll see. All new wiring this year, so there will be some challenges with that, I would imagine, and I'll include that in the video as well. If you have any questions, leave them below. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.